What's up, nerds? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is JonScottWontStop. I'm a second generation hairstylist that's been doing hair for the better part of 2 decades. I'm here to do a couple product reviews and then correct some misinformation that's being circulated on the interwebs. Today, we're going to be doing another Hairstylist Reacts to YouTuber video. Yes, it's a shady title. Yes, it's a shady series. Yes, it's meant to be shady because honestly, I'm sick and tired of seeing this person give bad information. If you're new to my channel, it's no secret, I'm not a fan of Brad Mondo. I feel he gives a lot of bad information online, and that bad information can lead to plenty of younger people ending up in my chair crying because they ruin their hair because they listened to what Brad Mondo said or followed a Brad Mondo YouTube or whatever. A lot of us stylists are tired of the bad information he's putting out there. So I'm just going to start correcting it. Many people would be like, oh, well, you're clout chasing, blah, 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 whatever. Fine. Call it that. I really don't care. He built his entire career off of reacting to people failing. So I'm going to react to him failing at giving good information. Today, we're going to be talking about blow drying and what he thinks he knows about blow drying. I have 3 videos that we're going to go over. 2 I have already discussed on my TikTok, but we're going to discuss them again here all in one shot. So let's just jump right into it, shall we? First video.
Hi, beautiful. If there's one thing I know how to do well, it is a blowout.
We'll see about that.
This is the step that I see so many people missing on and so many people doing it wrong. You need to rough dry your hair.
Okay, so a lot of people do skip the rough drying portion of their styling routine, and rough drying will help cut down your get ready time considerably. However, not everybody has hair that is meant to be rough dried, and you don't rough dry every single time you style your hair because some styles rough drying will disrupt the overall result. Uh, it's also important to note here that he at no point mentions, and I have a feeling because the way he's sitting at a desk with his computer, his usual setup when he's looking up the answers to things that he doesn't really know about and then getting them wrong, uh, is probably from a larger video. And I'm not going to go hunt it down because I don't care that much because it's the information he's putting out at a time. And this is a snapshot from Instagram. It's important to note, which he did not, that you want to put your styling products and your thermal protection, all of that in your hair before the rough dry, not afterward. Um, but yeah, let's just jump right back into it.
If you want to know how much you should rough dry your hair, well, I made a beautiful little chart for you here. So basically, I like.
Okay, so this chart, straight to wavy, straight to slightly wavy, 80% rough dry, wavy to curly, 50% rough dry, very curly, 10% rough dry. From what? What from soaking wet? From dripping? What where did it start? So 50% dry, as we know it in the industry, is towel dried. Now, towel dry doesn't necessarily mean you're using a towel to dry the hair. Towel dry can also mean like terry cloth or microfiber or t-shirts, whatever fabric is best for your hair texture. Uh, we want to absorb the excess moisture out of the hair when we are doing a blowout that requires a rough dry and a brush and all that. What you want to do is you want to absorb the water into the fabric that you're using, whether it's a towel or a t-shirt, and you're going to squeeze your hair. Do not do this like roughing thing where people with you're just roughing up your cuticle. So don't do that. But you don't really start a rough dry until you've absorbed the excess moisture out of your hair. 50% dry is just your hair not dripping wet. Um, so I'm not sure if he means like 10% from towel dried, if he means 10% from soaking wet. Did you wring out your hair in the shower? What? Now, to be fair, Brad does not have long hair. So, and working with, and I speak from experience, working on someone else's hair and working on your own are 2 different things. Like I had to, like, even though I've been doing hair for years with short hair, when I grew my hair out, I had to learn how to style my own hair. And I used the tips and tricks that I knew as a stylist, which helped a lot for me to be able to style my hair. But it wasn't just like I was immediately good at it. There was a learning curve there. Um, so I can dry my hair. I can let my hair fully air dry and then take a blow dryer and a brush to it because the heat is going to change my hair texture. And I'm slightly wavy, well, a little more than slightly wavy. Um, but I mean, I'll go until it's like 90% dry and then start smoothing it out. This was done with a paddle brush and a blow dryer. There's a reason why we keep some moisture in the hair depending on how much wave is in the hair. When we do a blowout, and that more has to do with stretching of the hair. Your hair will stretch considerably more wet than it will dry. And when the hair strand stretches, the diameter of the hair strand shrinks, gets skinnier a little bit, makes it easier to manipulate. And then also you're using heat and drying it and pushing the cuticle down while it's in this manipulated state. And that is what's going to create the different shape. Actively, we're working with hydrogen bonds and disrupting and changing them when we style hair. When it comes to very curly hair and we're rough drying, um, like I'm talking like 4C, the whole point is to get it as smooth as possible because not everyone's hair is capable of being blown out in a way that it looks like it's just a really nice blowout. But what we want to do is blow out the hair so that it's smooth as possible before we do iron work. So I think that's also really important to know rather than giving people this idea that like, oh, hey, my hair's very curly. I'll just rough dry it 10% from wherever, not explained. And then I'll start styling. Like expecting to get this amazing hair. That's not always the case. Like your texture, your curl, yes, curl is texture, but also the texture of the hair, fine, normal, coarse, that situation does play a lot into the overall result of the hair. All right, let's just jump back into it.
To go in on the roots first. That is where most of that water sits and does not want to come out. That is where the hair is the thickest and the healthiest, so it really grabs onto that water well.
Like I get his logic here, but that's not what's happening. So your hair is actually more porous towards the mid shaft and ends, so it's gonna hold more water there. However, it also, because it's porous, releases water easier. The reason why your roots and more specifically like the nape and the back of the head tends to hold more moisture is because there's other layers of hair laying on top of it, making it harder for the water to evaporate off of the hair. That's why air drying the nape tends to stay wet longer than something like the top or the sides that are more exposed to the open air. Like internally, there's not a lot of open air exposure, so you're not going to get a lot of like evaporation. So when we go through and rough dry, we're really focusing on the roots. More so, you want to focus in the areas that tend to hold water the longest, which would be in the nape and more towards the center, like occipital. That area is going to hold more moisture. Typically just below the parietal ridge in the back corner sections will hold a little bit more water. That's just where people tend to be a little bit more dense. So that's not like his explanation is not why that's happening, but I can see the logic there.
Get the hands in there, rake the hair side to side, and get that blow dryer in there close. Make sure you direct the air downwards to ensure that you're not getting any more frizz than necessary in your hair.
Okay, so you don't have to get in there close. You also it's also not required to have the concentrator on, but he's right. You do want to blow it in the direction that the hair is going, so that way it keeps the cuticle laying down. Taking the concentrator off is going to give you more airflow, which is going to give you a better like. It's going to dry your hair faster. So you don't want to get in super close. You never want to get in super close to the scalp with a blow dryer unless you have a concentrator and you have a brush where you can control where the hair is and how the blow dryer is relative to it until you're a little bit more skilled. Like myself, I will once my hair is done drying, I will get the concentrator really close, but the way the concentrator is directing the heat, it's only touching the layer of like the surface of my hair. It's not touching my scalp or my skin. But again, I am a licensed professional. I've been doing this for years. I've had long hair for 10 plus years now. So I know what I'm doing in that aspect. Uh, so it's not absolutely necessary, but you're not doing anything wrong by having the concentrator on while you're doing your rough dry. It's just kind of slowing down or impeding the process of getting the root dry faster. So that's just something to be aware of. Okay. So I really want to go over this claim that if there's something he knows, it's blow dries, because there was another video a little while ago that I had corrected over on my TikTok too, actually, and I just kind of want to get into them now. I'm saving the most ridiculous for last, but this one also has quite a bit of bad information. So let's just get into it.
Hi, beautiful. This is my secret to getting frizz-free hair. We're gonna put in some Viper smoothing oil, obviously, because it smooths a bitch out. This is the secret though. Put the brush on top of your hair, lock it in with your thumb, and follow with the blow dryer pointing down.
Okay, so I do not suggest locking the hair with your thumb. You can continue to flip the hair over, twist towards the scalp, and pull and get a little bit more tension. That's just something that a stylist would do because you're above and behind the person, so it's a little bit easier. Putting your thumb up against that type of a brush, that brush is made of ceramic. Ceramic like will conduct heat, so that's a really good way to burn your thumb if you're using medium to high heat. So I wouldn't suggest putting my thumb up against it to get the tension on the hair.
This is gonna put all those frizzy, nasty shits and bits underneath your hair.
Okay, so I would never call anything shits and bits when it comes to doing hair. Also, you're not pushing them underneath the rest of the hair. What you're doing is using the concentrator on the blow dryer. You are pointing it in the direction the hair grows from the scalp. And what that's going to do is lay down the cuticle layer, and the heat is manipulating it to do so. Um, So, I mean, at most, this product is going to help create shine, and the product will help coat the cuticle layer to help it lay down a little bit smoother. But what you're doing there is you're manipulating the hair through manipulation of the hydrogen bonds, which we can get like on a later video, go a deeper dive into how those work. But really, what you're doing is you're using the concentrator going in the direction of the hair, the direction the cuticle moves in, to lay the cuticle down using heat. And as you pass over it and it's laying down, the hair cools behind the blow dryer, and that helps with maintaining that shape. It's always good to do a cold blast afterwards. That helps really set the style before you start disrupting it with your hands. But let's continue.
And you're gonna get a smooth, shiny, refined result like this. Gorgeous.
Okay, so would I say it's like the best blowout I've ever seen? No. I actually do my hair with a paddle brush, not a round brush. I can get just as much tension with a paddle brush as I can with a round brush. A round brush would actually create a little bit more bend in my hair. I like my hair to look like it's flat ironed without actually flat ironing it, because I don't like to put too much heat up to my hair. All right. There's a compilation of bad blow dry information from Mr. Mondo here. I honestly feel like Mondo should be allowing more seasoned stylists platform his product line for him. I think he would actually uh, probably garner a lot more respect from the hair, like people that are working in the hair industry. Because I don't know, I personally, this is my opinion, I personally don't know anybody that would actually carry his line or suggest it as a professional stylist that is seasoned. I can maybe see like somebody that's in school or freshly out of school or whatever, following his information or trying to promote his product line or what have you. But I personally would never like put it or sell it in a salon that I manage or own, right? So okay, this last one is absolutely ridiculous. And I do want to note that, and I said this in my video that I did on TikTok, I do want to note that in his comment section, he was like, why hasn't anyone thought to do this yet? And I want to say it's satire, but like there's not enough hint of like comedic tone to it for it to be satire. And with his history of bad information, I honestly believe that he thought he did something here. And to which in my video, I was like, yeah, I wonder why the likes of, Vidal Sassoon, Robert Chromians, or Takashi Kitamura haven't done this. But like, let's just jump into the video.
Let's literally make waves with a blow dryer, and it's so easy. Just watch. Take a blow dryer with a nice defined nozzle like this, so all the air is in one place, and all you gotta do is just put it on some low heat, medium heat, and direct the air on top of the hair. Don't use a brush or anything, and move down the hair about a half an inch at a time. Try this if you want like natural looking sexy waves. Don't got waves but want some? I got you.
I want to show you guys something real quick. So this is a waiver. Notice how it has 3 barrels. There's 1 barrel on the bottom in the middle, and then 2 barrels on the top piece, or if I flip it over, 2 barrels on the bottom, 1 barrel on top. And this is the Ion waiver. It's like an indigo color. There's a reason why there's 3 barrels in it. And that is because you need that to create a bend or a wave. You're not going to really get it done too well with two. It's possible, but like 2 to 3 is what's absolutely needed. Just blow drying out the hair like that with a concentrator is it's not it's not doing anything. If anything, he's disrupting the hair more. The number one comment on my video, my TikTok, where I was correcting this stuff, uh, was you can get wavy hair with a blow dryer. Step one, have wavy hair. Like, because the model's hair is like wet and wavy already. And it's like, if anything, he's like diffusing it using his hand and disrupting the curl at the same time. So I always tell all my guests, especially people with curly hair, or just their hair in general, whenever you're going to manipulate the hair, make sure you have a thin layer of serum of some kind on your hands. Not enough to like put it in the hair and use that to like style up your hair, because with really, really fine hair, there's a chance of making it greasy, but just like a thin layer, because our hands don't have sebaceous glands in it. So we're not going to produce oil from our hands. And the dryness or the sweat from our sideriferous glands, I believe is how you say it, is going to disrupt the hair, disrupt the curl, make the hair frizzy, and so on and so forth. So you want to have a little bit of serum on your hair when you go to touch your hair, right? My hair's already styled, set, ready to go. I don't have a problem with my hair frizzing out for me, like just playing with it throughout the day. If anything, it'll be fine. So my problem, like, not too much is gonna come from this. Like, there's not gonna be damage done to the hair. Well, there could be heat damage done to the hair. Like, here's my thing. For every layer of heat you apply to the hair, you need to apply a level of heat protection. So I think it's really important for him to have said whether or not that serum that he is putting in the hair to do the smoothing blow dry has a heat protection element to it. When you're going to rough dry, you need to put all your styling products, including your heat protection, in your hair before you start the rough dry, because the rough dry is going to have heat in it. Um, when it comes to the smoothing of the hair, that's all done with the brush, the concentrator, and the tension. So like the rough dry, you do want to point the air in the direction that the hair is going to prevent like more frizz. But when you flip your head upside down, sometimes that's impossible. You can still create that volume and still get that smoothness without like sacrificing one for the other. Um, but you absolutely do need to have your products and your thermal protection in your hair before you take any heat to it. So I mean, I would towel dry first so that it's not dripping wet. Then I would put the products in. Then I would start the rough dry. And then you do your finishing products when you're all done. I always end my blow dries with a cold blast, because that's going to help set the style further. Heat manipulates the shape of the hair. Cold will set the shape of the hair, because again, we're using tension, heat, the concentrator to lay down the cuticle, and then we're going to set the cuticle. All right. And then as far as the waves go, no. Honestly, I think he should take that video down, because that video is extremely embarrassing. If he meant it to be satire, he needs to pin a comment somewhere saying this was satire. But at this point, I don't believe it. I don't believe that was satire. So uh, this is not the way to blow dry your hair. If you guys would like a blow dry tutorial, I am more than happy to do that for you guys. Sound off in the comments below. Give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and set your notifications, and I'll be happy to do that. So by the time you're seeing this video on YouTube, it's already been posted over on my Patreon for 2 days. So if you want early access to my content, you can find that over on Patreon. That will be done, posted. Um, sorry, that will be on the second and third largest tiers. So the can't stop and won't stop tiers will have my content posted early. The don't stop tier is just to show your support. So you can find them over there. Also, don't forget to follow me on my other social medias. You can find them down below in the description. And yeah, guys, be careful of who you're getting your information from as it pertains to your hair. This one, not going to cause any real problems, but when it comes to someone thinking they know what they're talking about, giving bad information, and they get as bold as to start telling you how to use chemicals, regardless to whether or not they say, hey, I don't suggest you trying it at home, but if you're going to try it at home, here's some suggestions. That's fine and dandy if the suggestions are good suggestions. But when they're bad suggestions, that creates danger and issues. I have a video of him explaining 50 and 40 volume neither of which he is familiar with or comfortable with, which I think is really dangerous for any stylist to be telling anybody, whether that's a young licensed stylist, a seasoned stylist, or someone that is just doing their hair at home, how a product works when they're not familiar with it. Um, that being said, guys, thank you for joining me. Uh, check my other videos. Not all of my content is about hair, but like I said, I will label all of these to make sure you know what you're getting yourself into from the notification when that pops up. All right, guys, have a good one. Thank you.